Hello, hello, hello. Check, check, check. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Jake Faulk. I'm the Visual Arts Director at Acadiana Center for the Arts. And today I'm going to come to you live with our latest InstaChat with the ever stellar and always amazing Chris Pavlik. Let me welcome him in. I hope y'all are all doing well on this Thursday. Wow. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. Let me look in. And let's see. Connecting. Love the background. How you doing, buddy? Can
Good.
you hear me well? Good.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Sounds good. Sweet. Coming live from the hallway.
Yeah.
At 625 Garfield?
Got
There
it.
you go. Nice. Awesome. So how's the hallway been lately? Quiet.
It's just a hallway with a bunch of art in it right now, you know?
Yeah. Are people able to get into the studios and make some work and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Dappler's here right now. I can hear Herb Rowe upstairs. So
Cool.
you
Herb's a machine, man.
What's that?
Herb's a machine.
Oh yeah.
He's always in there. You too as well. You're a pretty regular studio worker. I mean, that's kind of would you say that's your kind of the core of your practice is based in a studio, you would think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Some people
now to actually have like a studio.
Yeah.
There's times where my studio is like a table and an easel set up next to my bed, you know?
Right. Yeah, those are hard times.
Get stuff done, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I thought of you immediately when we were talking about doing these InstaChats because I feel like you give so much of yourself to the community and you're so active and pretty courageous in what you do as an artist. I know I'm going on talking good about you. What's this world coming to? No, I love how adventurous you are in your practice. And a lot of times I feel like, especially studio artists, they'll kind of shell up a little bit and not explore dimensions or avenues that they necessarily should. And I don't think that's ever the case with you. And then also the idea of you sort of engaging in this hallway curation, but you don't really curate. We're going to get to your practice, but can you tell us a little bit about the hallway, how it came about, and what the idea is behind it?
Sure. So, I'm here at 625 Garfield Street. It's called the Warehouse on Garfield Artist Studios. And it used to be an old railroad building. It's over 100 years old. When it was built out to be artist studios, they made the hallway into an exhibition space. And Herb was putting on shows in years past, and he'd do a few here, a few there, I think a few every year. But they were, random and kind of you had to know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years ago when we realized there weren't, me and Brett Shigoy were talking, realized there weren't any actual galleries these days, besides the AcA and Basin Arts, which are doing great things, but there was that you could just for artists to regularly show. And so, why don't we just do it? We've got the space. We can just do it. I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And he's like, okay, but actually, I don't really want to do it, so you're going to
The magic of Brett Shigoy. You got to love him.
He's behind the scenes. He likes to just...
Ninja.
Yeah. So yeah, I had the background in art hanging. That part's easy enough. Before I immersed myself full time in the arts, I did any number of food service jobs where I was management. So I'm used to dealing with people and organizing people and figuring out schedules and all that. So it didn't bother me to be reaching out to people. And, honestly, just having not been from here, I've been here for about 5 years, and I've always been blown away by the art community I found here.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. It's all over the board. It's a really engaging culture. And so I knew there, and somehow I think because, I don't know, I had a weird story here. I've had a very, very lucky time in Lafayette where, like, show at the main gallery of the AcA a month and a half after I moved here. And after that show, I went over to Stephanie Patton's house where I spent the night talking to Emmy Morgan. And the next I started working for Robert Dafford. So, I mean, like, within 2 months, and then, like, we were working with David Alpha was working on jobs. Within 2 months, I knew, like, a lot of core people in this community. I started hanging out at Basin Arts on a regular basis, and so I got to know a lot of the younger artists.
Yeah.
Robert, I met a lot of the older artists, and so I just seemed to be a central point for knowing a bunch of people from a bunch of different generations of arts in this community, and I just started reaching out and seeing if I could get them all to come together. So
yeah, and I think that's what's really funny is knowing you as a person. You're kind of introverted. You're not. I mean, you're a friendly person, and you go out of your way, and you're very social. But you're not the extrovert. You're not going to be the guy dancing on the table, that kind of, depends on what it is. But I love that you go beyond your natural inclinations to bring people together and to really activate a community. Was that something you did before in other communities?
So before I lived here, I lived in Idaho for 3 years. Before that, I was in Seattle.
Right.
And I did not like the Seattle art scene. The galleries were very, very snooty. Most of the art I saw that was made there didn't really interest me. So I was able to see a lot of great shows that came through.
Yeah.
As a community, I never really clicked in. But I did, the last couple of years I was there, I kind of quit painting and I took up ceramics. There's a ceramics institute in Seattle called Pottery Northwest. And it was such an amazing change having been from an isolated studio painter in ceramics where you pretty much have to work in groups. Like most people don't have the facilities to fire their own stuff, and it takes a big, it's usually a group endeavor. And so just like it was really to be in a group of artists like that. And I really liked it. I was kind of surprised. I actually really enjoyed it. I was very active there. They let me be a studio tech, so I got to just like throw myself into ceramics hardcore. It was great. Then we moved to Idaho. And when we moved to Idaho, I went to WSU, Washington State University for. I just went there for a year because I don't have a degree, and so there was a lot of grants for people over 30 to just go back to school. And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Went back, and I just was pretty much taking art classes. And they wanted to restart. They used to have like a student art union there, and it's been defunct for a number of years, but they wanted to get it going. And so I was like, sure, yeah, I'll join in on that. And since I was in my 30s and everybody else was like 19, I very quickly just because everybody else was kind of standing around and didn't know what to do. And I was like, let's do this. Just let's go. Let's do this. So I kind of took over that for the year.
Well, yeah, and sometimes when you're in
groups,
Yeah.
And then I moved to Lafayette, and like I said, the first week I was here, I saw an article by Kate Durio looking for downtown mural propositions, and so I put one in. And then like the week after that, I met Brian Guidry at the AcA, and I gave him my card with my website on it, just to introduce myself. And he called me up later and was like, "Hey, I want you in this main gallery show." I was like, "Cool." So, Lafayette very quickly embraced me as an artist. Yeah. And it's been really good to me. I've managed to be in all the right places at all the right times, and I'm just very fortunate that way. And so I just want to give back. I have a studio here because Robert Gafford just lets me crash in his. I don't pay rent. He just lets me be here, which is awesome. So kind of managing the hallway is a lot of me just paying my dues for this building. This scene, like I said, it's a great art scene. I want to be able to push it as much as I can because I think there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think we are very fortunate to be in the community we're in. I mean, I can't say it enough, how generous people are to each other in the art scene. That's not the way it goes in a lot of places. And a lot of times, you know, I think a common thing that we all share is we say, oh, I wish there was more collectors. I wish there was more sales and more opportunities to make money as an artist, to survive as an artist. And we find our way, but also at the same time, those bigger cities that we might envy because they do have more of those opportunities, it's also an industry and it becomes very mean and not nice. And I would take a scrappy little community like we have over one of those big ones anytime. So, and that's why I'm back home, you know, that's why I'm back here kind of working with people. And I too, I'm not an extroverted person naturally. I mean, I have to work at it. And part of my doing this chat, but then also part of curation is about me making sure I'm engaging outside of myself. So I think I'm happy to be in this community and be able to contribute in that way. Speaking of introvert, let's get to the practice, the studio practice, the painting, right? So far as your arc of development within Lafayette, you've really taken to landscapes, swampscapes, scenes of a sort of mysterious wetlands scene that kind of dissipates out into like an all over, I would say, the composition is all over, almost like a Pollock, a Jackson Pollock is never, there's never a central point, but then there's always this mysterious kind of thing that presents itself to the deeper looker. The longer you look, the more you discover. But then you've transitioned to portraits. Is there anything, where does mystery come in between those two?
Well, I guess let me go back a little bit. So in my 20s, I was painting more like kind of fables. I would use animals as like the main subjects, and then I would paint scenes around them, and there were these little self-contained narratives. And right before I stopped painting and started kind of ceramics, I was kind of, I didn't really feel like I could push that anymore. One of the things I realized when I came back to painting a couple of years later is that really what interested me more about those paintings I was making was the backgrounds, was the like landscape going on behind the scene. I would always paint the animals in the front first and then kind of forget about them and then like spend all the time figuring out the background and how that works. So when I started over, I just started focusing on backgrounds and basically landscapes. Again, at the time I was living in Idaho, so it's a different landscape, a bunch of rolling hills. And my goal was to try and figure out how to make landscapes that could function as an area. Just like how does looking at a place tell you a story? Which was harder to do up there with the landscape there.
Yeah.
Swamps. There's so much going on in a swamp scene that it is kind of its own story. Like you're constantly going in and out and over here and up down here and something's going on over here. And there's just so much information that I felt like it was just perfect. It just made it made so much sense. And my wife's a wildlife biologist, so we spend a lot of time going outside. So any of the swamps I'm painting are things that I've seen myself, photos that I take. And yeah, in terms of the portraits that I've been doing, one is kind of just a nice break from landscape, you know. I get into phases where I'm really doing one thing for a while, and then when I need a break, it's always nice to have something else to go to. And so one of the things I go to is portraits, primarily, actually fairly exclusively, just old white men in suits as kind of a, you know, I think the last time I showed some was at Cité des Arts last year. Yep. Suite of 4 of them on the side, man on a horse 1 through 4. And they're all just old guys wearing suits, and the idea was that they were the four horsemen of the apocalypse because the world's going to end because of the actions of people in power, and all these people wear suits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's just a way of looking at you know, the state of things where we are now is like this is always how we've gotten here. Always been all suits for the most part. And so,
never more relevant than today.
And so I've also been painting a series for a while now, a couple years of just kind of like scenes of laborers, workers, people like miners, a lot of hardcore physical labor. And I've always been, you know, when I was in art school, I didn't really get along with my painting teachers very well, but I got along really well with the teacher who was teaching Marxist theory. And so I've been really interested in the nature of money and how wealth and how that works out. And so, you know, it's tied into those portraits of people wearing suits is the people who actually did the work to generate that wealth behind them that you never see. You know? Yeah. So I do a little bit of both.
Now, those portraits of workers, did that transition? Did you have? Was that part of Cité des Arts as well? Did you have some workers in there, some miners?
There's a miner. Yeah, there was two guys. I did a diptych that was like the two pieces were each 42 inches tall and then 7 feet wide, and I stacked them right on top of the other. The bottom one was of a miner working like just kind of going through a cave. Yeah. And the one above it was a guy rowing a boat on the ocean.
Yeah. Now, would you consider yourself a do you think of like Courbet or somebody like that as somebody that is your predecessor or grandfather in painting kind of thing, like you ally with because he was very much about a working class kind of you know, that kind of not glorifying but elevating that kind of working class I don't know, paying some dues to it through care and how he painted folks in general.
I mean, I love Courbet. I would say when I was in school, my biggest influences were the social realist movement of the 30s and 40s, guys like John, Jake Lawrence. So I was interested in how at the time, the new ideas of modernism were being tied in with figurative painting in a way that engaged the moment these artists were in. Yeah. So, you know, I think I came to Courbet through Jack Levine. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
I don't know if I am.
Yeah, he's great. I love Jack Levine. I still look at him a lot.
And he was part of that 30s, 40s?
Yeah, definitely. He was a figurative painter. He took a lot of like the techniques of people like Rembrandt and Rubens and all that, but a lot he still picked up a lot of stuff from Cubism and just like interesting painting. It's very painterly, but he was telling scenes of social justice, social injustice, kind of just getting a feel for the time and the place he was in. It's really interesting stuff. Yeah, go check it out. He's great.
And you know, I feel like something about, because I'm very familiar with the Diego Rivera works, particularly at the school I went to was SFAI, and they have a big Diego Rivera mural, and those were very much kind of Marxist sort of core at the core. And I feel like there was a lot of that kind of WPA 30s and 40s mural kind of stuff, which was very different than what necessarily you have today, because that was government funded. That was like, you know, that was very much part of the Depression, coming out of the Depression, and you know, that kind of thing. So it's definitely, I mean, the current moment, the contemporary moment it's complex to say the least, and definitely heartbreaking and different, and things are getting changed around because what is the next mural going to look like, and what is it going to tell us about our community and that kind of thing. So, and because we're gonna need murals more than ever right now, because most of the attendance of galleries is going to be very different. Actually, you have a great mural on the Science Museum, on the outside of the Science Museum, which I think is a phenomenal museum. I didn't even realize that you had done that, but I feel like having that to encounter daily must be a really nice kind of thing to like run into as you're just walking through down, like, oh yeah, I painted that thing. I spent many hours on that piece of art, and I mean, we gotta have that stuff in our community. We have to have cultural institutions. I think now more than ever, I think we've got to have a place where we can come together and share, and like Bob and I were talking about, looking at a piece of art is very important, and experiencing that with people, and experiencing works of art, music, dance, film, all those things as a communal experience is one thing, and then that personal space within the communal is way more important. I think more important than ever right now. So I don't know why I went off on a tangent. Sorry about that. Talk about murals. So, what's the next thing? What you got going? I mean, you're any shows on the horizon, or ideas that burgeoning on that you're kind of ready to investigate?
Yeah. Well, speaking of murals, there's a building right across the street from the hallway that the guy who owns it makes custom drumsticks there.
Okay.
And it's a nice size. It's probably about, I don't know, 17 feet long, maybe 10 feet high.
Okay.
And so I've actually been trying to do this for a couple of years, and it just never works out time. He's given us permission to paint on it.
Okay.
Something where we do a series of murals that are where murals up for, say, 3-4 months, and then somebody else one.
Yep.
A bunch of advantages of one. Obviously, you get to see a lot of different art over time.
Yeah.
Also, when you're making murals that don't have to last, you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can do like stuff that you can't do if you're trying to make, a technically stable mural that's going to last 20 years. You can't do one. But you can do all sorts of stuff on that wall. So I was getting ready to do it in the spring, and then the COVID thing hit, and I just didn't know it was a good idea to be outside, even though the weather was perfect.
I know, yeah.
Just everything got really confusing for a while. So I'm still hoping, I'd still like to start that.
Cool.
We'll see if it happens or not.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in a group show at Basin Arts, curated by Theodo.
Yeah.
In April.
Yep.
Didn't happen. I don't know if that's still going to be happening later or not. I've heard through the grapevine about this crazy idea for a show involving wrestling, but I don't know.
That crazy idea. That crazy idea is probably going to happen.
Cool. Well, I'm going to try and get into the show.
Actually, have you seen the new downtown Chicken Smackdown?
Yeah.
On Facebook, I think Spoonbill made a chicken sandwich Smackdown promo video where they're talking smack about other restaurants. So I think downtown has this chicken sandwich contest throughout downtown that different restaurants are going to participate in. And it's only going to be available, I think, during the month of June, maybe, or July. You have to look it up, people. I'm so sorry I'm uninformed about the Chicken Smackdown at this point, but it's golden. But they were filming a wrestling promo about, you know, our chicken sandwich is going to be the best one, da, 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 which was a very lighthearted moment that I really appreciated this week more than ever. So I'm looking forward to doing that and working on the aforementioned show that hasn't been announced, but it's coming for the community. And I you know, honestly, I just feel like art is such a great tool for getting community together, for talking about difficult things, for really having a quality of respect for your fellow person. And it goes across everything: race, culture, you know, class, language barriers. I mean, you name it. And I think the more we get out there and keep the ground fertile for art to continue to grow, it's so amazing. Hey, what time is? I forgot my watch. Okay, we'll keep talking. Cool. Well, I tell you what we're going to do is, since I don't know what time it is, let's do this. So as you continue to work on things, Black community artist shows, question mark, Miss Marie, yes, definitely have stuff coming up. So stay tuned. I have things in the works to engage our Black community. We actually, if I could, so we had a recent show called Voices of Race and Portrait, and I felt that was such a powerful show. And there were powerful conversations as part of the conversation starters. And I think that's something we got to look back at. So stay tuned. But Chris, the mural coming up, other painting shows, and the hallway, what's the best way for people to keep track of what's going on with all those things? Is it through Instagram or Facebook or a website?
Yeah, I mean, everything's up in the air. I don't know. You know, I don't answer to any of those questions, but I would assume, like, the hallway has both an Instagram and a Facebook page. So when anything is going on that, I'll be posting back on that. You know, this piece behind me. So this is a Dutch Kepler on one side and Catherine on the other. This is still the show that I put up for March that we never actually had. That was the first month where we showed up. So it's a great show. There's a lot of really strong work in here. So I'm hoping that when we reopen, I'm just going to show it again. You know, I debated on whether to put it all, but you know, I really rather just show it in person. And just have it be a pleasant homecoming. So,
totally agree.
I don't know when that's going to be, but I will sing it to the hills when I do hear more. Yeah.
Cool. All right. You want to get to some 5 rapid round questions? Here we go. All right. So I have a few standard questions and I have some creative ones just for you in particular. What is your favorite location in Lafayette or in Acadiana? Overall, in general. No stipulations. Lake Martin. All right.
Lake Martin.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, say that again?
I just said I love that. You know, I usually go there about every other week or so. And, you know, I think the last time I was there, we were walking down the path, and for some reason, it just felt totally different. Like, even though I walk it every other week, there's times where I just feel like I'm in a new place. It's really interesting. It does change a lot. There's a lot of, like, there's some kind of vine that's taking over a lot of stuff, which is not great, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that place.
Awesome. I think I have to agree. I think Lake Martin's a special place. I try to bring everybody that comes visit here Try to bring them there, because I feel like, in a way, it shows them how close we actually are to nature, but at the same time, we're not as. It's weird when people think of Louisiana, they think of a P-row and like, you know, us really being in the swamps, you know. And there's a little bit of that, but it's only, you know, it's only so far, and it's even better than they imagined. So it's a very complex place for sure. All right. One studio tool that you would recommend to viewers and to your fellow artists?
PowerShot stapler. It's a but it's designed to be more ergonomic. So rather than the handle push the back where you're stapling in the front, push down in the front into where you're stapling. I've been told they don't. I've had the same one for over 20 years. I bought it when I was 19, so that thing's like 24 years old. It still chugs along.
Yeah. I have one of the smaller, like Betty Crocker ones by Stanley, but it works great as long as the wood is not too dense that you're going into. But yeah, it's always getting the replacement staples. You got to know which precise one you want and what works. Right. So, and then buy 2 or 3 packs when you find them. Is the key. One, you know? Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm trying to remember this one. This is one I've only asked once, but I feel like you're the person for it. What is required reading for people in 2020? What should everybody be required to read in 2020? This is and it's wide open. It can be fiction, it can be nonfiction, that kind of thing.
Man, I feel like I have to know what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Margaret Atwood, honestly.
Okay, there you go.
You know, if you want to know, if you want an interesting way to think about society collapsing,
yeah,
he's a master of it.
And now she's had quite a few books. What was the latest one that was transferred into the miniseries? Handmaid's Tale. Yep.
For everybody, I just finished reading the Oryx and Crake series. It's a trilogy about a slight near future where somebody is this incredible genius basically comes up with a plan to wipe out humanity and replace this weird clone set of humanistic animals that doesn't have any of humanity's problems. But there's a handful of it, and it's crazy. But it's really interesting because it goes into things like genetic engineering and just like mega corporations and just class warfare, and then like how ill-equipped we are in our state to survive without the benefits of the civilization around us, and how like screwed we'd be the second all that stops functioning and you're left just
wow. And when was this written?
What's that?
When was it written?
Oh, it was written, I think about 10, 12 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
It's not like, I just read it probably 6 months ago.
Okay, cool. And what was the name again?
Oryx and Crake is the name of the first book. I think that's the name of the series.
Okay, cool. I like books in series like that. And I also like that kind of fantasy, science-y, fiction-y thing. You can get a lot of things like, what was it, Animal Farm, stuff like that. You know, you can get a lot of things by writing something that's outlandish like that. So, all right. That was question number 3. Question number 4. What are you looking forward to most as we get out of this kind of contemporary moment of a very kind of limited social distancing, those kind of things? What are you looking forward to when we get beyond that?
I guess just being able to do at least some limited traveling, you know.
Oh, God, yes.
New Orleans in months.
Yeah.
You know, go to New Orleans.
Yep.
That's probably
yeah.
go to New
And
Orleans.
yeah, New Orleans, man. And I mean, last time, well, one particular time that I remember that you went to New Orleans and you got stuck at a Goodwill. Where'd y'all get stuck? And it flooded.
It was oh wait, my wife just chimed in. It's the Mad Adam trilogy.
Awesome. Thank you, Paige.
You're so smart.
Awesome.
Yeah, so for White Linen Night, like 3 years ago, I was in the Louisiana Contemporary show, and so I was supposed to go to that opening night. And it was just pouring rain, and we went to the museum, went to NOMA, and then we were going to go to the quarter and walk around, but it was just raining way too hard. So Paige is like, hey, there's a Goodwill out, because we don't really have a lot of great stuff here. So we went to Goodwill, and we were in there for about 40 minutes. And when we came out, it was surrounded by 3 feet of water. Like, the parking lot happened to be the only raised elevation within, like, miles. And so it was its own little island. And it was just a Goodwill and a gas station that had a chicken shop inside of it. And so everybody made their way to this island. You know, all these cars were pulled up into the median, washed away. And everybody just, like, started going in the gas station and buying cases of beer and buckets of fried chicken. And people just turned up their music, and we all sat around and just, like, watched.
Bonded.
It turned into a party really fast. Within, like, 40 minutes, it was more or less a party. It was a sad party, but it was a party.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
it was pretty cool. There was all these cars stuck in the median where they'd gotten up, and they were still inside.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of kids in their 20s came out with one of those giant rubber ducky floating things that, like, 5 people could fit on. And, like, they all ran over, and 2 of them stayed with the duck, and 2 of them went inside. And they came back out with, like, 4 cases of beer, and they just started going up the street handing out beers to everybody stuck in their car.
Oh, man.
It was just like, you know, I can't imagine any other city that would deal with something like that, you know? Like, everybody was just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. The people here in Louisiana are just beautiful. There are some amazing people in our community, which is, again, it's why I came back home, and I love being here. And, you know, we make do with so little. Just, let's be honest. We take care of each other. Our whole, I mean, that's a whole nother subject, is our cooking is based on having so little to work with. I mean, gumbo is gumbo because we're extending, you know, all these flavors into a soup that would usually only be like half of its size or a quarter of its size, you know, which is
Flour.
What's that?
We got 3 tablespoons of flour. Let's make soup.
Exactly. Cool. Well, I got one more question for you. I think this one's a good one. What is the most profound experience, or let's say, what's the most profound experience that you've had with art? Whether it's a place you've seen art, a piece of art you've seen, experiencing, something that made a lasting impression or influenced you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of the piece now. I'm really bad remembering names of things. Always. What's it called when you make, like, a proclamation, like, as a statement, and like artists always. It's not a statement, though. It's like more like very angular diatribe, but like
those are called manifesto. Yes.
So I was in Washington, D.C. back in December, and the Hirshhorn had a piece that's called Manifesto, and I can't remember the lady's name who made it. But it was a series, it was a giant installation of videos there were 20 videos or so playing simultaneously on different walls and different angles. They each had a of speakers below, like right above it, so you would mostly hear the one you were watching, and each of them was oh my god, Paige is gonna kill me. I can't remember the actress's name. You're listening to
Kate Blanchett.
Was it Kate Blanchett?
I think so. With a black background. Yeah.
Yeah. So she plays different characters in each of these, and she's reading. She's more or less not always directly reading, but it's about her going through different artist manifestos through time, and they're all related to different subjects. About surrealism, one's about like architecture, one about whatever. And so each of them is set in a different setting, and she plays a different character, and it's just incredibly beautiful. And then at some point, timed up, so at the same point during each of these, all of a sudden she breaks into this like kind of liturgical chant and just starts whatever she's reading. She just says it in a voice like this, it goes on like this, and it's kind of robotic. But all of them do it simultaneously. So you, like while you're in there, it's a big cacophony until it gets to this point, and it's still a cacophony, but it's all the same staccato delivery, and it just hits you like a wall. It was, I mean, the visuals were beautiful. The just listening to it, the juxtaposition of the images with what she was saying, the way it was all laid out, everything about it was just like so perfect.
Dang, I have to look that one up because I might be getting it confused with another one, but I think it is Kate Blanchett, but I thought it was all on a black background. But I'll look it up and yeah.
Also, characters. One of them, she's working in a crazy like trash compactor factory thing where she's operating. One of them, she's a upper class suburban housewife, and she's like making her kids sit down to say a prayer, but the prayer is just this like insanely Dadaist rants. It's just beautiful.
Nice. Yeah. I have to look that up. Manifesto.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Again,
in the Google, in the Google universe, I'm sure we'll find it with those clues.
I should have bought the DVD. I mean, it wouldn't be the same watching them back to back, but they were still
right. Even if it's just a reminder. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll buy the book. That's the other thing. Like buying a catalog, a book of some show that you saw somewhere, just as a reminder of that experience you had in person is the reason why those things exist. And they don't exist. I think right now, a lot of our transition into a world beyond this kind of COVID moment is going to be a lot more virtual museum literature. Like we're already thinking about those things. But God, those catalogs are so important to be able to look at, and they're made with care. The Vita Shell one at the Hilliard is amazing. And I will, mwah. Good job, Susie, right?
Yeah, for real, Susie Guitardi.
Woo! Cool, man. Well, all right. Chris, love you, buddy. I'll see you soon. Love the art community out there. I can't wait to be all together once again. See everybody's happy faces and sunshine and amazingness. I'm drawing a blank on the next InstaChat, and that's a shame. I should totally know it, and I don't have it in front of me. But what's that?
Marshall Blevins? She's coming up.
Marshall's coming up. Hannah Gumbo's coming up. Jordan Thibodeau or Julian Primo's coming up, I believe. There's a few more. Panat. I can't pull anybody else out. Oh, Sarah Brown. Yeah. So anyway, check our website, Facebook and Instagram for Acadiana. Aileen's coming up. Thank you, Marshall. So check our Instagram, check our Facebook. Follow us on those avenues. all the information is there. Every Thursday, every Monday, noon, 12:30 to 1. We go with chat with artists and love your community, support your artists, support Black-owned businesses, support small businesses, support artists. I probably already said it, but it should be said again. Support the hallway when y'all open back up. Go visit and get in touch with Chris about showing at the hallway as they start to roll out, because I think that's an important thing for our community that you do every month when it goes up and it's live and going. You are the man at getting people activated, and thank you for that, and thank you for all the great vibes and the good art, and that's about it. Thank y'all.
Hey,
talk to y'all. Yep. Talk to y'all. What's that?
I said you do the good work. Thank you.
Thanks. You too, buddy. All right. I'll see y'all soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.